Blog Talk Radio. Blog Talk Radio.
Franchise interviews. From Easton, Pennsylvania to Sydney, Australia, you're listening to Franchise Interviews. Franchise Interviews. Welcome to Franchise Interviews. Franchise Interviews has been giving an up-close, behind-the-scenes look at franchising and entrepreneurship. Listen to interviews with franchisers, franchisees, franchise authors, franchise experts, and attorneys. And now, welcome your host, Marty McDermott, and Franchise Interviews.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of Franchise Interviews, where for over 8 years, we've been asking the entrepreneurs one-on-one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott. I'm the president of Franchise Interviews, and we have a great show today. We're meeting with John Swift, the vice president of Franchise and Business Development at Batteries Plus Bulbs. In business since 1988, Batteries Plus Bulbs have evolved with the expanding electronics and light bulb industries to become the nation's largest and fastest-growing franchise in this specialized market. We're going to talk to John about that in just a moment on Franchise Interviews. So stick around because we got a great show.
Are you one of those special people who are willing to go after your dreams and goals? Are you ready to fulfill that dream of owning your own business with the security of a proven brand? The opportunity to take control of your future and own a Rita's Italian Ice franchise is within your reach.
Rita's is seeking success-oriented individuals who are ready to make a change in their life, and Rita's offers unparalleled training and support to assure your success. And did you know the frozen treat industry is a recession-proof industry, and there are Rita's in 23 states currently with 540 stores open. Rita's Italian Ice has been around for 25 years and is listed as a top-performing franchise by the Wall Street Journal.
Now here's the really good part. Rita's Italian Ice is a unique and amazing taste treat. It's smoother than a snow cone, and it combines ice with real fresh fruit. The real fruit adds dramatically to the taste, and it comes in over 40 flavors. The ice and fruit are mixed on site and made fresh daily, and it is delicious.
You'll want to know more about this exciting and successful franchise opportunity. Go to www.ownaritas.com and get all your questions answered. That's www.ownaritas.com to take control of your dreams and future today. You don't want to wait any longer to be a part of this adventure. www.ownaritas.com.
Franchise Interviews. From Easton, Pennsylvania to Sydney, Australia, you're listening to Franchise Interviews. Franchise Interviews.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to a very special edition of Franchise Interviews, where for over 8 years, we've been asking the entrepreneurs one-on-one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott, and I'm the president of Franchise Interviews, and as we were saying earlier, we have a great show today. We're meeting with John Swift, the vice president of Franchise and Business Development for Batteries Plus Bulbs. And in business since 1988, Batteries Plus Bulbs have evolved with the expanding electronics and light bulb industries to become the nation's largest and fastest-growing franchise in this specialized market. Hey, John, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hi, Marty. Thank you. I appreciate you having me today.
It's my pleasure, John. We would like to ask our guests where you're calling from this morning.
I am in beautiful Heartland, Wisconsin, a suburb of Milwaukee, where our corporate offices are located.
That's fantastic. How's the weather there today, John?
Actually, pretty good for Wisconsin. It's probably about mid-30s, and we'll take
it. That's great. It sounds like the weather here in Pennsylvania. We're actually getting hit with a little nor'easter here. So it's not so nice, but I guess it's signs of winter.
Did you dodge the bullet last week with the big snowstorm, or did you?
We did. We were able. Well, we got hit a little. We're actually on a mountain, so we always get hit with it just a bit. But we were actually able to dodge it a bit. Because just last year was just awful.
Never ended.
It never.
Which is
ended.
good for battery sales, by the way.
That's. I imagine so. Absolutely. That's fantastic. Yeah. We had Batteries Plus on the show many years ago. I mean, this was a long time back, and last time we had you on the show, the company was named Batteries Plus, and now you're Batteries Plus Bulbs. Maybe we could talk a little bit about the history of the company, John, and the decision to also change its name.
Yeah, sure, of course. Well, this is our 26th year. We started in 1988 in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and here we are 26 years later. We have 638 open locations in 48 states, and we continue to grow and develop, and it's been fueled by, of course, the dramatic expansion in mobile battery-powered devices, and that we all have that kind of power our lives, and so we've been riding that wave, and of course other types of battery-powered things like cars and motorcycles and boats, etc. But about 5 years ago, we saw an emerging opportunity with lighting as the Thomas Edison era incandescent light bulbs were legislated out of manufacture, all in the interest of energy savings, and we saw an opportunity. So after a couple years of testing in our corporate stores, of which we operate 42, we launched the light bulb assortment light bulb program into our model, and rolled it out into all of our operating stores and all new stores. And this was back in 2011, and we very quickly decided and learned that, given the opportunity and given the offering, that the name of the company, the name of the store, needed to change. So we evolved from Batteries Plus to Batteries Plus Bulbs, and it has been it's been a good transition. It was done very thoughtfully and carefully, and rolled out market by market, store by store, and now all of our stores are all badged Batteries Plus Bulbs, and every new store that's opened since then is Batteries Plus Bulbs. It
seems like a great match. I mean, adding bulbs, of course, to the mix, John. I mean, have the customers changed a bit since going this direction?
Well, what's really, really interesting is, the same customers that have come to rely upon us for their battery needs have also learned to depend on us for their light bulb needs. And really, it's all about providing expertise and information. And what's happened with consumers is, the days of going to the grocery store throwing a 4-pack of 75-watt light bulbs in the cart are gone. And now consumers are faced with choices and terminology that they do not understand. And every transaction, every sale, every customer that comes into our store is assisted. It's an assisted sales environment. And with light bulbs, we're able to provide them information, options, explanations about, the difference between, this LED or this compact fluorescent, the differences and things like the technology that people don't understand, like lumen output or color rendering index. What does that mean to a soccer mom, right?
Exactly.
So we apply expertise and help the consumer understand the many choices, and we help them, make the best selections for their lighting needs.
When you think of the market size, too, John, I mean, in the industries that, Batteries Plus Bulbs is in, I mean, both markets are very huge, aren't they?
They're exactly, and expanding. The battery market is, I think it's about $4 billion, and light bulbs are smaller, of course. But the opportunity with lighting is the evolution from the the incandescent bulbs to things like LED, and LEDs are just exploding in popularity as the technology improves and the prices come down.
That's true. What was the rebranding process like, John?
It was I wouldn't say it wasn't a challenge. We had to ensure that our consumers understood that we're not a different company, we're the same company. So it was done again, in phases, and I think very thoughtfully with the appropriate amount of advertising and explanation. Stores embraced it, quite well, and one of the things that we heard repeatedly is that when the name on the door changed to Batteries Plus Bulbs, not surprisingly, the bulb sales would increase because you stand outside the door and you read Batteries Plus Bulbs. There's really no doubt what you're going to find inside.
Exactly, that's true.
So that's been very beneficial.
That's fantastic. It's it's interesting. I mean, in following the history of the company. I mean, first, congratulations. I mean, on hitting the 26-year mark. In doing this show 8 years, we've had some really big names on the show. And they've always mentioned that there's something special about that 25-year milestone. They say that's like a really big deal when your franchisor hits that mark. I mean, you just kind of like move to the next level. So I mean, I think it's fantastic that you guys have had that history. So I mean I think that's really I think that's really fantastic. I was reading online also that you've moved into device repair space, and I thought that was fascinating as well. Why did you decide to move into that area, John?
Great question. So as you mentioned, in our 25 years, we continue to evolve and improve the model to ensure that we're always relevant and on trend with demand and what's evolving, what's developing. Device repair is just so synergistic to us for a number of different reasons. First of all, we have had in our stores an area of the store that we have called the Tech Center, which is where we're able to assemble battery packs and dismantle devices in order to get at the batteries and replace the batteries. So we're very proficient at that type of technical disassembly, reassembly work in the first place. And with device repair, we identified that surprising statistic: 1 out of 13 smartphones / tablets has a broken screen. And the fact that we have millions of these devices in our hands, replacing batteries in them anyway, made it really pretty synergistic to go ahead and develop the expertise to actually repair the components of these devices, which includes the glass on the screens, buttons, charging ports, these types of components. So we're able to repair them in each of our stores in the store, many times the same day. And it's just been really a terrific addition to our service and our offering, and one that consumers have readily have accepted and like.
Yeah, it's interesting in seeing, again, all of these changes that are, going on at Batteries Plus Bulbs, over the last several years. I chuckled when you said broken screen. Over the weekend, that just recently happened to me, so you said 1 out of 13. I said, okay,
well, you're one of them.
Right there. Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
So it's interesting. It seems like such a great match, and all the things that, Batteries Plus Bulbs is doing, over the last several years, it seems really exciting. And it's been a common theme on our show, too, John, as we've noticed some really big brands over the years, always doing some type of rebranding or adding to the product mix or whatever it may be. And it's always fascinating, and I think that's certainly attributed to the growth and the longevity of Batteries Plus Bulbs, isn't it?
Yeah, thanks. Well, we've been successful, but that never guarantees you're going to continue to be successful over the next 25 years. So we're always looking for ways to improve, enhance, advance the business. And, we have an obligation to our franchisees as well as to the brand to, never turn into, some of the brands that have lost their way and, kind of fail to keep pace with changes. And we won't do that. So we're constantly looking for new products, new services that, staying within our general theme of energy and consumer products, but we're always looking for the next opportunity. And one of the great things about having our corporate stores is we use them as a bit of a test environment. So we're testing services and products right now in our corporate stores, some of which will never be rolled out to the franchise community. Some of them will be the next thing.
That's fantastic. So it's not like Batteries Plus bulbs is going to get into the restaurant industry or the senior care industry or anything like that.
No.
It's always going to be consistent with, and I think, again, these matches that you've done over the years, I think they're really, quite brilliant. What have been the responses from the franchisees? I mean, again, in reading about it, all of this sounds like a great match, but I imagine that most of them have been very open to all of these changes that have taken place.
Yeah, there's always consternation when change occurs, and franchise community is no different from the general community. Some people readily embrace it. Some people are maybe a bit more hesitant until maybe they're all from Missouri. Show me. But I believe that the addition of light bulbs and the addition of device repair has been well received and embraced and executed at the store level, particularly as they have, as they've seen the revenue enhancement that it provides to the model, and the way to continue to reach consumers and bring them into the store. So it's been well received.
That's great. Have the characteristics or traits changed over the years? I mean, as far as what you look for in your franchisees, John?
Not really. It's really not that technical of a business. It may seem like it from the outside, but it's really a people business. So we look. The attributes are about the same. We look for certainly people that recognize that they're going to work hard. They need to take ownership, of the business, and we look for folks that can engage with other customers in a friendly, non-threatening way with good communication skills. There is a business-to-business sales component of our model, and we certainly, if you have that type of exposure or experience in business sales, that's a plus. It's not required because we do train extensively and ongoing. But it's really not. It really hasn't changed that much. We have people that come to us from all types of backgrounds, with great backgrounds, great stories. Engineers, pilots, business owners, veterans, retirees, people looking to start a family business. It runs the gamut.
And it's nice to have that diversity too, isn't it? I mean, in your franchise family, so you can say, I think that certainly adds to the value of the franchise, doesn't it?
It does. I think some businesses, like if you're in a restaurant franchise, then they're looking for people with restaurant experience.
Right, exactly.
And we certainly understand that in our business. That type of background, that type of experience, isn't necessary, because it's really, those are skills. Our skills are ones that we can teach and train and coach.
That's great. Is the training still similar, John? I mean, do they come out to Wisconsin? Is that how it works?
Yeah, the training is really quite extensive, and it never really ends. It certainly starts with the new owner training, which is a very comprehensive, some would say intensive, 3-week training session in our training center in Wisconsin, where you're really taught, how to operate.
Right.
And then from there, there's training that takes place in the store. There's training that takes place in the field, showing and teaching how to navigate through the commercial sales element of the business. There's training on device repair. There's ongoing product knowledge. I mean, the training opportunities truly never end. We have stores that are 20, 25 years old, still participating in training activities. So training just doesn't. And I think that's one of the reasons why, one of the things that I'm very proud of is we just don't have stores close. Yeah. And I mean, it's possible and it's happened, but the reason is because there's such growing demand for the products and services that we provide, and we will coach and teach and train as much as you need and as much as you want. So the support really helps to helps franchisees succeed in a market where there's certainly lots of demand and growing demand.
That's true. And Batteries Plus, has had some very, very, very successful franchisees, over the years. Could maybe talk about one or two of them, John?
We've got a number of franchisees that have been, very successful. There's a particular franchisee who has operated stores in Minnesota for a number of years, and then decided to expand their network into Florida, which and the guy's my hero, because he spends the summers in Florida and the winters in Florida and the summers in Minnesota.
That's great, isn't it? He's my hero too.
But his network has now grown to be, he's the largest operator in our system with over 20 locations.
Wow.
And he continues to have a very forward view of the business, and recognizes that opening stores and fulfilling the demands in markets is he's grown his business, and that's a great success story. And there's a number of owners that are in that similar category. I give you another example of a great owner who's contrasting, is a single store owner in a small town in the kind of the southeast, and the guy is knocking it dead. He's very well connected. He's networked, and he services the consumers and the businesses in his market, and has absolutely been a great success story very, very quickly. So single store owners, great success stories, and owners that evolve into multiple unit owners. There's also a number of those that we can talk about. But yeah, there's a number of owners that have done very well in that regard.
That's fantastic. I was reading, John, that you offer a special incentive to folks looking to open a Batteries Plus Bulbs in California, and you don't see that often from franchises. Can you tell us more about this program and how?
Yeah, great question. Thanks for asking that. So California is actually one of the last remaining markets, if you will, where there's a lot of availability. In many states, including Florida and Texas and places like that, there's just not much availability because we're either sold out or pretty saturated. But Southern California, with 23 million people, is a great opportunity for us. The population density is terrific. The opportunities there are just unlimited. And so to encourage and support owners to open and operate in California, we've created a special package to help them not only open but reach cash flow positive as quickly as possible, which of course in a small business is it's key to reach that cash flow inflection point.
Absolutely.
So for these new business these new owners in California, particularly Southern California, we're offering an incentive program that provides a number of things. First of all, we'll defer about $86,000 of the initial investment over 18 months, which eases certainly the cash requirements to open a store.
Yeah.
We'll provide $1,000 a month for the first year of operation to subsidize the rent for that store.
Wow,
again, to ease cash flow and support the new store ramp up. And then additionally, we'll provide that new store with $6,000 to contribute to their new store grand opening advertising campaign.
Wow.
So we want to support the store in terms of easing the cash flow burden of the initial investment and getting open. We'll ease the cash flow requirements by contributing $1,000 a month for the first year to support rent, and we'll contribute to the grand opening advertising to help build awareness.
I think it's a great offer because, it shows the confidence that you have in your franchise system, doesn't it? And that's
absolutely.
a great market, by the way.
Yeah, we've done. We spent a lot of time in Orange County, Los Angeles County, Riverside County. We've been all over. We know the market. We know the areas that are great opportunities, and we're just looking for the right people to develop in those areas. And we're willing to come along beside them and support them as they get ramped up.
That's fantastic. What's in the future for Batteries Plus Bulbs, John? If you had a crystal ball, 3 to 5 years down the road.
Wow, that's an awesome question. I see a continued expansion in the number and the diversity of battery-powered devices, which leads to us. It's right in our wheelhouse. As more battery-powered devices are introduced, many of them have unique batteries that consumers just can't find anywhere. Wearable computing, devices that have embedded computing or battery power. The Google Glass. Not that that's going to be a huge development, but that type of technology. Who knows where that's going to lead, right?
Absolutely.
So I see more battery powered devices, smaller, mobility, and that will certainly lead to continued demand for the replacement batteries. Not sure about electric vehicle. That is such a unique segment, and electric vehicle batteries are kind of the domain of the manufacturers. I think the LED business will continue to expand as more and more lamps will evolve to LED technology, and I see that. And there may be other product categories that we introduce. We're looking at some today that I can't speak to, but I'm certain that in 5 years we'll be offering other products and/or services to support the demand that consumers and businesses need.
That's fantastic.
And we'll continue to open stores.
That's great. No, that's awesome. The majority of our listeners, John, I mean, we call them aspiring franchipreneurs. I mean, most of them, they know they want to go into franchising, but we find that most of them just don't even know where to begin. Right. And you've been doing this for a while now. What advice would you give to them?
Well, I think my advice would be understand what your own personal objectives are. What is it that you're looking to accomplish? Some people entering the business look to replace income. Maybe they've been displaced from a corporate position, or their skill has been is no longer in demand. So if you're looking to replace your income, that's a different objective from building a business that would create a legacy that your family can operate, and maybe your kids are in. So understand exactly what your objectives are would be the first advice I could provide. And then secondly, as you look for a business, try and identify those that are consistent with that objective. And some businesses are, they come out, they're red hot, they're trendy, they're in great demand, and maybe there's a fair amount of income to be earned in a relatively short amount of time before that concept kind of loses its luster. Right. Conversely, there are some businesses, and I'd like to include ours in this category, that are just, rock solid, steady, year upon year. We're here, and there's a lot of new kids on the block, the newest, hottest concept, which is fine.
Sure.
But it depends on your objective. If you're looking to build a long-term business that has staying power and maybe a legacy for your family or your children, then I'd look for a business that has a track record of stability.
I think that's great advice. What's the best way for our listeners, John, to get more information on becoming a franchisee? Are there any websites you'd like them to go to? Any phone numbers?
Yeah, absolutely. The best way would be to visit our website, which is www.batteriesplus.com. And this is a website where consumers can visit to get a feel for what we have to offer, find a store location, and some other functions. But there's a tab on that website that says Own a Franchise. And clicking on that tab will take you to our franchise development website, where there's a wealth of information, as well as several ways to contact us to speak with somebody and learn more.
That's fantastic. I want to thank you again, John, for coming on the show. You've been a great guest, and I'd like to invite you back in the next year or so as you continue to grow. I think Batteries Plus Bulbs is doing some great things, so I'm going to keep my eye open for you.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and maybe we'll be able to talk about the next thing that we're doing.
That's true. It sounds like you are.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Thanks, John. You have a great holiday, and we'll be right back with more franchise interviews.
Franchise Interviews. From Easton, Pennsylvania to Sydney, Australia, you're listening to Franchise Interviews. Franchise Interviews. Franchisers, are you looking to reach aspiring entrepreneurs looking to buy a franchise? Are you looking to reach a highly educated audience on franchising? For over 8 years, Franchise Interviews has been giving an up-close, behind-the-scenes look at franchising and entrepreneurship through our website, franchiseinterviews.com. Or you can hear and read interviews as well as get tips from some of the most successful sources in franchising. Our weekly franchise radio show, where each week you get to hear a new interview with franchisers, franchisees, franchise authors, franchise experts, and attorneys, and our podcast, Great Quotes in Franchising. For more information, go to franchiseinterviews.com or call us at 610-905-2919. That's 610-905-2919. Are you looking for a franchise that delivers? Businesses will always need shipping, and for more than 25 years, loyal customers have depended on Unishippers for reliable savings and exceptional customer service. Unishippers is focused on just one thing: helping small and medium-sized businesses save time and money on all their shipping needs. And as the largest reseller of complete shipping services in the country, we have the buying power to ensure that we succeed. The Unishippers franchise offers low startup costs, no equipment or real estate required because they're not retail, residual income, and a quality of life and work-life balance. For more information on becoming a Unishippers franchisee, go to www.unishippers.com and click Franchise Opportunities or call Franchise Development at 801-708-5822. That's 801-708-5822.
Hi everyone, this is Marty McDermott from Franchise Interviews, and welcome to another edition of Great Quotes in Franchising, where each podcast you get to hear a great quote in franchising. You know, we've been hosting Franchise Interviews now over 8 years and over 400 shows, and during that time we've had some incredible quotes on our show. Today you're going to get to hear from Chris Simic, who is the founder of FranchiseTeacher.com, and Chris has over 30 years of business and franchise experience as an independent business owner, a franchisee, and a franchisor. And Chris said something very profound that we haven't heard on our show in over 8 years. He mentioned that you have to almost work harder to fail at franchising than to succeed in franchising, and he explains why.
Most people, about 90% I think I've seen, buy a business other than they first looked at.
Wow, that's amazing.
So
that's interesting, isn't it? I mean, that's a big number too, isn't it, Chris? You know that most people, they go in with these certain expectations and they come out with something different. And I find that fascinating.
I absolutely. It never ceases to astound me, but I think that speaks to the value of franchising as a business model and a business method, because people don't have to be in something just because they know it. And quite candidly, sometimes getting involved in a business that you would rather do that you were not involved in allows you the luxury of taking a new career path and to develop something you never would have had the opportunity to had it not been systematized and prioritized for you. In franchising, it's said that you have to really almost work harder to fail than to succeed, because if you have a good franchise system, if you follow directions, you have to almost purposely not follow them to not do well.
That's true. That's fantastic. We have this great quote in franchising. I think we're going to put that one in there, Chris. I think that's very original, and it's very true. What advice would you give to our listeners? We find that most of them, they're just beginning their search to buy a franchise, Chris, and we find that, most of them just simply, they don't even know where to begin, like you were saying. What advice would you give to them?
I do, when I speak to people looking at franchise, I give them 3 different pieces of advice. One, make sure you're looking for a business for the right reason. Now, a lot of people have things happen in their life. They lose a job or something happens, and they react and maybe say, well, okay, maybe I'll go buy a business. That may not be the reason to do it versus having the luxurious selectivity that here's my opportunity that was created by some adversity. Second thing is that they have to make sure that they are able to be franchisees, that not everybody is designed to be able to follow the systems, procedures, and the processes it takes to be a successful franchise owner. And then I tell them quite candidly is pick a couple of the industries and the price ranges that may have interest to you, and then kind of pin down from there, either using the resources of a consultant or a broker or a team member, or on their own. Either way, but I think that if they take their time, follow the steps, and do it for the right reasons, they'll be on a much smoother pathway to success in owning their own business.
That's well said. What's in the future then for Franchise Teacher, Chris? I mean, where do you see the company 3 to 5 years down the road?
Well, Marty, we've been extremely fortunate and blessed that the business has been around, through Century Franchise Group for many years, and our new FranchiseTeacher.com has taken off. We're representing right now, 7 plus brands. I think in 5 years our focus will really be even more fine-tuned as the consumer or the prospective business owner is looking for more and more specific information, breaking down to teach, coach, consult, and advise. I think will be a way for us to assist people in what they need. People again don't know what they don't know, but I think the information overload sometimes discourages people too early. They say, this is too much for me to process. If we can break it down into bite-sized pieces, I think more and more people especially the younger generation, who are looking for the advice and the information they want when they want it, I think is going to do nothing more than continue. Then our next business venture, which launches at the end of this year, is looking to capture all the different franchise brands around the world and put them into one place. So we're looking forward to a future. And franchising is going nowhere but growing. As you
right
on a long time too, the number of franchise opportunities, and the world's getting to be a smaller place. I think you're going to find a lot of opportunities coming in and going out of different marketplaces in different countries, accessible to more people.
That's fantastic. What's the best way, Chris, for our listeners to get more information on franchiseteacher.com? Obviously, franchiseteacher.com, but any numbers you'd like them to call or email addresses?
Well, actually, we appreciate www.franchiseteacher.com. And my business partner, Dave, and I offer them the free 1-hour consultation. Fill out the form and take advantage of it.
That's fantastic. I want to thank you again, Chris, for finally coming on the show. I've been following your career for a long time now, and I have just been very impressed with everything that you've done, So when I saw this, I mentioned to you, we don't typically call people to come on the show, but I had to have you specifically on the show. So it was an honor and a privilege to have you on the show today.
Marty, ditto, and again, congratulations on your PhD doctorate. I have read your thesis, and I would recommend it reading if people can get through
that's fantastic.
The information.
I really appreciate that you read it, too, because that's an honor coming from you, so that's fantastic. Well, I want to thank you again, Chris.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with more franchise interviews.